Hello, I'm John McAllister with the John McAllister Report. I branch off into different areas around the state, Coach's Corner, and other kinds of prospects. But this edition is I want to reach out and talk about some of the best prospects in the 25 class in Ohio by position, and it's my thinking. Those are my comments, and as you know, I don't always go with what the media says because I think there's more to it than that. And just these are kind of in unranked order. I'd like to have you sit back and follow along. And again, these are my opinions and not necessarily the college's opinions or the media. Thank you. Are some of the top offensive line prospects in the 2025 class. I've watched them on film. Now, for me, a lot of them are projections. A lot of them, I think you look at and see down the road what they can be at the college level. And I think that's some of these young men are probably not what you would say finished products. And my goodness, I hope they're not. I hope they're. My first lineman is big offensive lineman from Dayton Northmont High School, Jaden Clark. Jaden Clark very well may be the best offensive lineman in the 25 class. He was for me as a sophomore. Now the problem is he didn't play last year due to a leg injury that he suffered at one of the summer camps at a private camp. And wasn't his fault, by the way. So he had to rehab the whole year. He missed last season. So a lot depends on how he comes out this year, how he goes into the summer, how he trains. And I know he's worked hard all winter. I've talked to him, but something about him that something I like about him. He's obviously physical and he's worked hard. He seems like a great young man when I talk to him, but I'm not so sure. I'm pretty sure he might be the best lineman in the 25 class. I'm excited for him. Nolan Davenport from Massillon High School is an interesting guy. And like I said earlier, I've always say I try to see what he projects, not what he is now, because when he was a sophomore and freshman, he played tight end. I think he weighed something like 215, maybe 220. Well, now he's moved to left tackle for Massillon, and now he's 6'6", 270, and still going. He has tight end feet. He can run. He can run all over the place. I really like the fact that he can block so well. He's so athletic. He bends when he's running pass protection, sets his feet up, and he can slide. He can stay on his feet. He can mirror the defender. And I think those are all great qualities. Plus, he's going to get so much bigger. Comes from a great program, and I really like to see what he's going to do because he probably lost weight and could play tight end. But I think he might be really, really a top offensive lineman in the class. Eli Kaufman from Wadsworth is another player. Eli is a very, very good wrestler, and he's up to 6'4", 270, and I believe he also played tight end back when he was younger. And he's moved to tackle. He could probably still play tight end, but I know he runs so well and he moves so well. He's got really good feet. He's quick in the box in short distance, and probably too too aggressive sometimes. He's got to play under control a little bit better. He's got to, do those things. And something about him. Of course, he's a wrestler. I think he can play offensive center. Good first step. He can bend. He's athletic, and he's tough. He's physical. He plays with a lot of emotion, as you can see on a highlight video. He plays with a lot of emotion. I go way back with Carter Lowe. I first saw him at a basketball game when he was a freshman, and he's playing freshman basketball at Whitmer, Toledo Whitmer, and he had the size. He was solid as a basketball player, but he's grown now into an offensive lineman. And I think the biggest thing Carter has to do is learn to bite you. And I think he has to learn the really finer points of blocking, because I don't think he has not played football very long. Now he's huge, he's 6'6", 300 pounds, but now he has to transform that all into being a top-notch, maybe left tackle. I think he can do that. He's got a lot of work, but he has the frame, he runs well, and he blocks on the second level. Watched him in pass pro. He's got to sit down a little bit, do a little bit job of mirroring the defender and those things. But if he continues to develop, he's going to be a very, very, very good offensive lineman. Right now, I hope he buys in and really, really develops. Now, he has to at Ohio State. They've made him a scholarship player, and he has to get better. But the frame is there. Everything is there. And again, like I've said earlier, I like to see what these guys are in 2 or 3 years. Tucker Caddis comes from one of the best programs in Ohio, Cincinnati St. Xavier. And I like him. He's tough. He's physical. He'll get into you and block you, and he can pretty good lateral movement. I wish right now he wasn't as heavy. I mean, as he is, he's carrying a lot of weight. I wish he could lose 15 pounds now and let the colleges get him bigger. Moves well, solid on pass protection. He's an offensive guard, but what I really like about him is his toughness. He's got to learn to bend, play a little bit lower. He's got to learn to bend his knees better, but he's tough. Pass pro, you don't see as much as an offensive inside guy, but he can pass pro. He can set his feet. And again, even with pass pro, I think he has to play a little bit lower and really improve his short distance speed. And but he has all the physical tools. He's got to get better at that level. I really like Jake Cook from Westerville North High School. And, I think I've explained it before. As a freshman, I saw him play. Had a lot of publicity. As a sophomore, I saw him playing camps, and I just wasn't I was concerned. He had kind of a bad shaped body and longer hair and stuff like that. And I just didn't know. Then I saw him in the fall, and he was a completely different guy. Last year, he was a dominant guy as a junior. Physical, changed his body, ran hard, played hard, and was under control most of the time. Pass pro, he's got to work on that a little bit, better feet, but he's an offensive guard, I think, in college, but he's a heavyweight wrestler and a tough one. And to me, he's improved at that, and that just keeps getting better. That makes him better. That makes him more valuable to me. I think he's committed to Louisville, but and that's a good program, a really good program. And they're going to make him better. They're going to make him, the guy there now is a heck of a head coach. And so, I like that in Jake. And I just think this senior year could just be off the charts for him. Like I said earlier, he's changed. He changed his whole demeanor and his whole physical body. And the toughness was always there. And I really respect him a lot. I respect his chances to be a very good college football player. Cage Payne from Kingsmill Kings High School down in southeast or northeast of Cincinnati. I like Cage. I saw him play when he was younger. I saw him start as a sophomore, play guard, and I think he played some center in that game in the playoffs. But as I've watched him grow, he continues to get bigger and stronger. Maybe a little too heavy for me right now, and maybe he needs to lose just a few pounds, but he's tough. He's competitive. He gets off the ball really well. He stays with his block. He can pull and lead. He can trap and double team. He does a lot of those things, and I really like him as pass pro. He stays on his feet. He can mirror you, and he can take on a taller, bigger defenders. And also in a film I watched, you like the way he gets out and he can block downfield. He can block in space. He does a lot of those things really well. And I think he's just going to keep getting bigger and getting stronger. Don't know about height yet. He's probably a center in college. Probably a center because he has that really good first step quickness and he's very smart. He understands the game. So, earlier, maybe lose a little bit of pounds, but I think you're going to see a lot of good things out of Cage Payne. And maybe guard, but hopefully a center at the next level. Really like him a lot. Vincent Giordano from what he's at Westchester, Lakota now. 6'6", 260. He's always played tight end and defensive end. And I think that's good, but I think his money is playing a left tackle. He's got to work on he's got to work on some blocking technique and things like that. And I'll see that this summer, but he's really athletic. He plays with a motor and he's tough. And as a defensive end, he's awful quick inside, awfully quick. He can take on blocks and make tackles and sacks. But at the next level, at the college level, I see him as an ideal left tackle because he's tall and he's rangy and he's athletic. He just has to get bigger and stronger. I'm sure he's strong now, but continue to get bigger and stronger. Watch him get downfield, run downfield, catch a couple passes, and good hands, soft hands. But again, I think all of that, to me, he'll have to go inside if he plays defense. He'll have to go to defensive tackle. And I know they want those guys taller, and maybe he is. He's, that tall guy they're looking for. But boy, I like him on the offensive line. Okay, for sure. He probably doesn't like that, but I like him on the offensive line. Ralph Green from Cincinnati Winton Woods I watch him and I like him. I really believe he needs to lose a little bit of weight. If he could ever get to 300 and going into college, I think he'd be awesome. Good feet. He's strong. He can stay with you. He can come off the ball. Comes off a little bit high, but he's just so powerful. He's just so powerful right now. But I would like to see him be a lot better bender, bend his knees, more athleticism, but he adds the size. And I think he's kind of a project from the standpoint that you're going to have to take a chance that you can get him into really good shape because he's physically tough, mentally tough. I like the way he pass blocks. He's able to mirror the defender and he can reverse direction, but he has to get better at that. He has to get better at doing those things, and he should. but I can't take anything away from his size. My goodness, I met him. I saw him last year. I don't think I met him. I saw him at the Ohio State football camp, and he's definitely one you have to look at if you're recruiting, because he's just got the size, and he get good leverage too. He can do those things, and I think if he loses weight, he's going to be really, really good. Mason Zahersky plays at Berea Mid Park High School, and played really well as an underclassman, and played well last year. And I really think that his best football is ahead. Plays basketball, runs the court really well, and runs the field, if I could say that, runs the field well in football. Really aggressive, runs all over the place, excellent feet. He finishes blocks. I would say one of the problems may be that he plays too high at times. And I think he can bend. I think he's athletic enough to bend. He just plays high. On double team blocks, sometimes he comes in high. Pass protection, I think it comes in high. But he can block in space, which I really like. He's really aggressive. He's athletic, and he gets those. He can block. He can block second level, and pass blocking, good feet. Just like I said, I think he has to stay a little bit lower at times, and he has to play a little more under control at times. But for the most part, he plays well. And he's a little short. He's going to be a guard, I think, at the next level. I think I have him at 6'4". He's probably 6'3", 6'4". And so but he'll play guard, and he can get out on the second level. And I think he's tough enough. He's tough enough, definitely, to be considered as a top offensive lineman. Mason, best footballs ahead of him. Jonathan Stengel is 6'8", 310, slender, and I met him last winter. He's the real deal. And, he's huge. He's all of 6'8". He's slender. He's not fat, and he's going to get even more weight. And once he gets into a program, like when he's 20 years old, I think he's really going to be tough. I think he can play the left tackle position everybody wants. He gets off the ball, he bends, and blocks on second level, bends his knees, and he's really athletic for a guy that's 6'8", 310, and 18 years old. And those are the things that catch my eye with him. Plus he's just going to get bigger. And he can run, he can block inside, he can run up and down the line of scrimmage. And he's a good pass protector. Really good. He's long. The biggest thing for Jonathan will be is to continue to get bigger and stronger and add good weight and jump rope. But I think he's got a big future, and I think I've got him dropped down maybe too low. I think he's got, but he's not going to be there tomorrow. But eventually, I think he can be a very, very good offensive lineman. He just uses his hands well, and all those things. I just really think that he's going to be a really good offensive line prospect. And like I've said probably 3 times already, not tomorrow, but eventually he will be. I mean, he's 6'8". Baylor Wilkin. I remember reading about Baylor Wilkin when he played at Van Buren High School. I remember seeing him at a camp. I think he weighed 225, maybe 230, and he was playing defense at the time. But he has since moved to Findlay. He's playing for the Trojans, and now I've got him 6'4", 270. And he's athletic. It's not fat. He's just gotten bigger and stronger in their program at Findlay, and got a toughness in him. He plays left tackle, I think, at Finley, but I'm pretty sure he'll have to slide inside and play an offensive guard position. But he's athletic. He runs. He's powerful. He bends. Got to get better at that. Got to get better at bending. But I think he's got a chance to be pretty good. He only played 5 games last year because of the transfer rule. So he's only played 5 varsity games. I think he has a great camp season this summer, comes in next year, and I think he's definitely an offensive lineman in Ohio that's going to catch people's eyes. And the move to Finley was good for him. Also believe that he is first-class act. I mean, a good guy, a good quality person. And tack that on with being a really, really potential good football player, and I think you've got a definite Division I guy. No brainer. Cal Thrush. Just saw him last summer. Watched his highlight films. I saw him. I watched his highlight films, and I really like him. When I saw him last spring at their senior showcase at Upper Arlington, he's playing defensive end. He's up to 250 now, 6'4", 250. He's playing defensive end. He may slide in and play tackle. He plays tight end. But I think by the time he's done growing, he's going to be an offensive lineman. We've talked about it, and I understand where he wants to be. But it's my job to promote these guys the best I see. I think he's going to continue to get bigger. He's smart. He's athletic, and he can move his feet. He's got good arm extension, and I think he's tough. He's got a great frame. It's just looks good right now. And I think also that he finishes. Even when he's playing defense, he finishes. He makes the tackles. He slides down from his tight end, defensive end position, and makes tackles. And so watch him catch a couple of passes as a tight end. And I think that he may outgrow that position. But I think that also shows you the athleticism that he has. And we'll have to see. I hope he makes it as a defensive lineman. I hope he does a great job because I like him as a person. But we'll see. I just think there's so much to see him maybe as a center. He's not a tackle, but as a center because he's really athletic. KJ comes from a small program near me and just in Crawford County, and I've watched him since he was a freshman. I saw him as a freshman. I saw him at Ohio State when the offense was going against the linemen. And, he's only coming out of his freshman year, but he was big. He wasn't 6'8" then, I don't think, 315 as he's listed there. But, he went up against some of the best players in Ohio, defensive linemen, and in the country. And I thought that was impressive. Now, he didn't win all the time, but he battled. Here's a guy that first time he's ever really had to battle. Well, KJ's career has gone slowly and slowly. He played tight end last year, I think, or last year. He played the H-back. I mean, he's huge, but he's able to move up and down the line. I saw him drop a pass, but he got downfield. He got downfield on a drag pattern, but he's huge. And now I think he's finally developing some of that mental toughness that he needs. Some of this, I mean, he had it before, but I think now he's starting to dominate. He's starting to, have that self-confidence that he needs. He needs to get against good competition this summer, I think, and people need to see just what he can do. But he passes the eyeball test, and he plays defense in high school. But I think he's really He might be a right tackle. We'll have to see about the left. But he does come off the ball really well. And again, he's kind of a sleeper. He's coming from a smaller program, but good camp showing. He'll be all right. And he's tough for sure. Caden Mail may be one of the most physical offensive linemen in the class of 2025. You know, he's 6'6". I think he's 300 pounds or around. I don't know for sure, but I watched him on tape. Caden Miley missed his freshman year of football because he broke his tibia and fibula during his freshman year and missed the whole year. So really, he's only had 2 years of football. And he's a weightlifting freak. He's 6'6", and I think he can get up over 300 pounds when football season starts. And his toughness is his strength. Okay, his toughness is his strength. He has good explosion, and he has good balance, but he needs to work on his athleticism, his agility. You know, he plays low. He can come off the ball, but he has to work on his balance. In open field, you know, he'll block, but sometimes he's uncomfortable running to get there. But he stays with his blocks on the offensive line enough, but he really needs to improve that area. Physical, tough, mentally tough. He played, I think, 4 different positions. His coach wanted him to get on tape all kinds of positions, and he could be a sleeper, but I think he belongs in my top 15 just to potential-wise. And good frame and really a tough guy. That's about as simply as I can put it. You know, I also like, if you see there, I like his leverage. He's got to improve pass pro, but that again goes back to agility and athleticism a little bit. Definitely one to watch his senior year at Fremont Ross. I haven't done something like this for fans for 25 years probably. I've done it for colleges once in a while, more than once in a while, but I've never done it for fans. I just threw these names out there to get them exposure. There are more. I will try to get to more later, but the next ones I do will be the tight ends in Ohio, the tight ends. So I hope you like this. It's something different. Hope I haven't upset you, but just gives you an idea who I think maybe are some of the better offensive linemen in Ohio. Now, there are plenty more, but these are the ones I picked out on my early dealings. Again, I appreciate your help. I appreciate your comments. And if it's too bad, text me or PM me. Thanks a lot.